So, who remembers this?
We farm for our children. We farm to feed the nation.
No farmers, no food! They tell me this demonstration is much, much bigger than they expected.
Demonstration against the imposition of inheritance tax on farms.
We've got to change this so that we can pass it down to our daughter and our son so that they can farm or have the opportunity to farm if they want to in the future.
Protesting farmers behind me are waiting to try and speak to Steve Reed after his speech where he set out a new deal for farmers. In his speech, he apologised and said sorry for the shock caused by the inheritance tax change.
And, oh, yeah, this too.
Okay, so, as we all know, everyone down there, you know a tractor. £200,000 for a medium-sized one. A combine, £500,000. All the equipment costs a fortune. And if you try to price what you're selling to accommodate that, there's just a lot of moaning. And then we got the budget. Now, I know a lot of people all across the country in all walks of life took a bit of a kick on the shin with that budget. You lot got a knee in the nuts.
Well, just to update you all, over the last few months, the government has doubled, then tripled down on their stance. In November, Starmer refused to reverse his position. Then in January, the Environmental Secretary did a fake apology, but then reiterated the government's position by saying it was a decision they had to take.
Lies.
Fast forward to the present, and I think Big Brother Gov will be backing down over the next few months. I really do think so. Why? Well, check this out. Farm tax raid has put Britain's food security at risk, says Tesco. 3 major supermarkets call for rethink of inheritance levy announced in budget.
Wonderful.
Truth be told, actually, it is the top 7 supermarkets in our country that have told this borderline criminal government that this policy needs reversing. 7 supermarkets that total approximately 70% of all our grocery needs? Tesco is just now the latest one to answer the call.
The beacons are lit!
And Tesco.
And we'll answer.
Rachel Reeves' tax raid on farmers is putting Britain's food security at risk and must be paused, Tesco has warned. Britain's biggest supermarket said the Chancellor should halt the introduction of inheritance tax on farms worth more than £1 million in order to safeguard British agriculture. I feel like I need to give a little context here for people living outside the UK, alright? You see, Tesco is the very definition of corporatism. They hate the small business. They hate people making it up in the world. That's how a lot of us over here see that corporation anyway. When Tesco was emerging as the dominant supermarket chain, so many, and I mean tons, of local shops were destroyed. They had to close their doors because they simply couldn't compete with Tesco's prices. So if they, of all people, are saying this is bad for business, that means even the giant corporates can't find a way to make it work for them. That's shocking. That should startle people.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
This is not just a debate about individual policies. The UK's future food security is at stake. Tesco was one of 3 major supermarkets to call for a rethink of the policy on Wednesday, with similar warnings issued by Aldi and Lidl, in an unusual show of unity.
Apes together, strong!
It came as the Office for Budget Responsibility, the government's fiscal watchdog, suggested that farmers were likely to slash investment because of the tax raid and cast doubt on how much money would be raised. The money that would be raised is net negligible. I don't pretend to be some sort of economist, I really don't. But even I can see that if you increase the taxation on selling and buying a farm, well, that will mean the prices that all the new or inheriting farmers require to meet their day-to-day costs will have to rise. That puts unnecessary pressure on both customer and business outlets that supply their goods, ending with less product being bought and businesses ultimately making redundancies or worse still, closing branches. It's not complicated.
I got news for you.
You're retarded.
You're fucking retarded.
But worse still, it also has a knock-on effect. This one measure is capable of derailing our entire customer-focused industry, which either this pathetic government is doing deliberately and maliciously, or are so stupid they haven't thought about the ramifications of their decision making.
They're evil and corrupt and degraded.
From builders, vets and feed merchants to fencers, machinery dealers and tool manufacturers, there's been talk of calls drying up and order books looking sparse for the year ahead as their customers, Britain's farmers, face a cash flow and confidence crisis that's been exacerbated by the family farm tax. What more does any competent government need to hear? Sorry, competence, yeah, that's a good one. You would think they would say, maybe we need to rethink this. Which just reinforces my point from earlier, they're stupid. It is pure ideology and incompetence that's pushing them on. No one normal would make policies like this. Doesn't matter if you are ideologically on the right or left or anything in between. No one would set out to destroy people unless they have an alternative motive. Something that benefits themselves. If it weren't for those protesters, if it weren't for the farmer protesters, if it weren't for figures like Jeremy Clarkson, who not only attended said protests,
I'm here to support the farmers. It's that simple.
but will highlight these issues on his own show, plus people like me who make videos about this stuff, there's no way you would even know about this situation. MSM are not interested. Heck, they're even trying to make out that evil import who deleted 3 girls last year is the fault of Amazon. I kid you not, that is where their minds are.
Southport triple Axel rid a cabana, 3 innocent girls with a knife. A kitchen knife, indeed one that can probably be found in every kitchen up and down this country. A knife that so happened to be purchased from Amazon, despite the being only 17 years old. But does this mean that Amazon is now to blame for this horrific attack? Well, some of our politicians seem to think so.
This is a situation that clearly will be ongoing. It will develop further for a while to go now. I will no doubt be back with more about it, but until then, stay tuned for more videos on this channel. Check out my memberships where you get these videos up to 24 hours before releasing them publicly, and another tier where you get reactions to specific shows that I will be starting at the end of this month with Watson Series 1. God, that look awful.
We don't know what we're looking for.
Something that shouldn't be there. We eliminate the impossible. Whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Must be the truth.
Right. Thank you all for watching. Do take care, and as always, God bless.